Welcome to another episode of our 2022 backtesting session of the index futures, the interest futures, index futures. Get there in the end. Okay, so where we left it was that we had FOMC yesterday. We saw a rejection from a high time frame PD array. However, we noted that no previous day's liquidity pools had been purged, so that represented low probability conditions for me and not a trade model. So what we're going to do, I'm going to remove, as you can see, we're still on Wednesday 26th, so price has not moved on. I'm going to remove the hourly liquidity pools and the hourly PD arrays, like so. And I will apologize in advance regarding my fans whirling in the background. In fact, let me just move to the hourly, just makes it a little bit more easier. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. Okay. Relative equal highs at the highs there, which will be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to move back out to the daily just to review. In fact, sorry, it's a lie. What we're going to do is just drop back to the hourly. We're going to forward price on to the beginning of the New York session, as we do. So go to next session. Is new day, another one, and that should be 6 o'clock. Okay, one more. Perfect. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Pop out to the daily. So what's interesting is that there is an element of, well, I say there's an element of a correlation because of this SIBI here that you can see on NQ but not on YM. We could argue that it's a crack correlation, but the overlapping PD arrays is this one on all three members. So although we could be perceived as saying it's high probability shorts, not necessarily convinced. Okay, so in fact, I want to drop down as we're concentrating a week. I want to drop down to the 4 hour. Let's get that all lined up. Good. Okay. So that is, we had no swing point for Wednesday, so that is the this is the Tuesday, so let's just update that. Reference Q2. Okay. Let's just make sure. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we want to make reference to Q2 at the lows. So this part of the process is just updating all of our PD arrays, key price levels, to reflect the things that we are interested in. Okay. Okay. Cool. So Q2, there was no clear, as I said, there was no clear low on Wednesday, so that's why it's not referenced. Now I'm going to update previous day's high. because that has been referenced. We can just call that the cool, and we've got relative equal highs there. Okay, here we go. Right, okay. So already I'm going to put a marker down here. So this is of interest to us. Okay. Right, so just looking at the PDAs, I'm happy that everything is as it should. The only other things that I just want to do is there is a CB in here, so we want to mark that up. Okay, and we want that on here, like so, and we want that on here as well. So that is a 4-hour inflection point. Okay. Right, so and what I just want to do for completeness is it's that, as we do. Okay, let's get into the narrative. So IOF and ISS. Okay, so we can see that the market is in a consolidation. All right. Popping out to the daily, we can still see clearly that's to the downside. Okay, so that hasn't changed. Following the displacement lower, fair value gaps being respected. That's very much to the downside, and in my opinion that has not changed. The 4-hourly is overall to the downside. We're just in a consolidation, so again that hasn't changed. Near term we could see high prices, but that hasn't changed yet. What we would want to see is a hourly market structure shift or a purge of this imbalance here to fully confirm that we could potentially see high prices. So that's potentially of interest to us. Okay, so it's still to the downside. And as mentioned on the daily, same as yesterday's narrative, near term we saw a retracement, then we saw a rejection. It's quite plausible we see a continuation lower. It's plausible that that could be the case, but we will look at what we see and then we'll make an assessment from there. So okay, so overall it's still a bearish stance. However, if a model presents itself to position ourselves with bullish order flow, then that's what we will do. Okay, so ERL to IRL. Again, it's an interesting one because if we're looking at this purely from what has price done, price traded up into the external range liquidity pool, sorry, not external range, internal range liquidity pool in the form of the SIBI daily. Okay. And then rejected. Therefore, we could see the market trade lower, seeking external range liquidity. Now I'm just going to write, because this is a caveat, however, as I have not yet seen a high time frame cracking correlation, it is plausible that price could continue higher before we see a run down to external range liquidity. So I'm bearing that in mind, especially as we are below the true week open. Okay, that's what I'm concentrating my analysis around, is the fact that although we could argue we should see lower prices, at the lows we've had SMT, we've had a rejection from a previous day's low that can support and we're below the true week open, that can support higher prices. So although we have seen a rejection from a SIBI, an institutional order flow from a daily perspective is bearish, we could still see a retracement higher before the resumption of institutional order flow bearish. That's what I'm looking at right now. Now I could be wrong, but based on my analysis in terms of how I approach the market, that's what it's leaning towards. So that's what I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Okay, so TO, as mentioned, let's drop down to the 4 hourly, get a better view. Okay, so currently all members are below their respective true week open, which supports the idea of high probability longs. Okay, simple as that. SPs, I have noted a previous clean and clear PDL from Tuesday. However, Wednesday was not clear. But should price form a high time frame SMT at the lows, this would be permissible to see higher prices. I have also noted clean and clear swing point at the highs, referencing the previous day's high. Okay, so we could target that. That's again possible, but the 4 hour, it's actually a 4 hour BPR. missed that, but it's 4-hour BPR, so let's get that in. There we go. Jesus. And that one can stay as a civvy. Okay, there we go. So high time frame Kraken correlation. I have noted the high time frame SMC, the lows with YM, supporting the idea of higher prices as this formed below the true week open. Okay. And just making reference, currently there are no high time frame correlations at the highs supporting lower prices. Okay, so that's ultimately what we're referring to. Okay, occurred during London, which in itself presented an opportunity. So what I want to do is drop down to the hourly so we get a better representation of what's been going on. And almost immediately my eyes have drawn to this area of potential reaccumulation. Yeah. Oh dear, come on. There we go. Hold on, but we've got to... Alright, let me just do this first, and then in actual fact, I've got that, but I am going to adjust this somewhat. Bear with me. We're going to overlap this in a minute. Let's just make this a little bit bigger. Okay. Which that is that one. Beautiful. Okay. And what I also want, just to overlap the area, is the BPR, which we could see the price rejected from. So I'm just going to put that as grey. I guess we can just label that as fine. Okay. As we can see, how price rejected in here, which is a very good sign. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have an absolute trade idea, but it certainly goes some way to support one. Okay, now we have a short-term low which was swept here. Just use that one for now. Let's change that to that. Okay. Marking this, but we have got obviously the previous day's low as well. But just to reference the fact that and we also have the high probability oh, I haven't updated a lot of these, but it's fine. Okay, and we'll just take this across. Still a few more things that we need to annotate, but this is all part of my regimented process. Okay, right. So we traded out, price didn't come back in. Just got a quick drink. Okay. Oh, gee whiz. What's my computer going slower? Okay. Okay. Right. Sorry. I haven't done the other bits. So we've got no London high. We've got a London low. So we'll mark up that sell side liquidity pool. Although I'm not anticipating price immediately coming back to that level. And we only have that until we don't have that on NQ. Okay. So that is, we do have a liquidity pool here. Which is quite important. I remember that YM is quite close proximity to True Week Open, so we've got to be extremely mindful. Okay, extremely mindful. So that's looking good. I'm just going to drop down to the M5. Just want to have a look at bit early, but yeah, trade ID there. Okay. This might end up being one that gets away from us, but we'll see. We will see. And oh, sorry, tell a lie. I'm looking at the wrong timings. And I thought I got rid of that, but maybe I didn't. Okay. Looks good. Okay. Let's just get these key price levels in. And if the market is weak, there is a chance that, you know, I'll be offside, which is possible. It's not the most ideal set of scenarios. In fact, you know, you could argue it's moved away, but we shall see what we have in Thursday. So dropping down to the 15 very quickly. I want to annotate the open, equities open, and I just want a reference point for 8:30. That's just a sorry, no, actually I do want a reference point there because there's high impact news. Silly me. Okay, so here we are. And there's one other thing that I haven't done, which I think is actually quite key. We want this SSL marked. It could be of interest. That's the reason why I'm marking it. Should price trade below it and back into the BPR, it could be of interest. So let's see. And just want to take a quick look at okay, we'll keep that up there for now. And I just want to double check there was one in there. 15-minute will do for now. Okay, I think we're ready to sort of move forward with price. We'll start off with 5-minute intervals, but we may drop down. Okay, let's go and have a look. I'll have a drink whilst that goes. Okay. That's interesting. That there is very interesting. But again, we're not at 8:30 yet, so we're going to monitor. I'm going to monitor these now by just clicking through. That to me is not a deep. It doesn't have to be, but it's, you know, I'm gonna wait till the 8:30 news. Okay. Okay. So, just venturing out, because price did reject from the BP. Mm. Price did reject from the BPR. Okay. So it's dropping down to the 15. Yeah, could well have missed the entry here. A displacement there. So I'm just going to mark that up. Okay. So we've definitely got intention to move higher. And what I'm going to also do is on this candle here, okay, drop down to the 5. This is interesting. Change that to the 1 minute. I just want 1 minute intervals, as we are in a key price level. Although, hold on, important that I and this will be down here, like so. I'm interested in that. Drop it down to the 5. We are at the news. Now, sorry, let me just venture back out of here. Do have SMT here. Just gonna have a quick look at the hourly just before I go. Yeah, okay. So I am looking at that level there, low there, targeting there. Now the question is, do I want this low or do I want that low? The reality is I think this low is fine. We are in a situation where I would want to see the next few candles. I am going to set a limit order here. Okay, hold on. Okay. That's a bit better. Looks much better. SL. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Profit. Yep. Buy limit. Save and journal. Okay, so let me just move this out of the way because I'm going to take a screenshot. There we go, we've got the screenshot. Oh, that's not the screen I'm after. That's actually today's price action. Because the session starts shortly, which I'll be reverting to. Right. So we've had that as well. We've had displacement on the M5. Let me just so I can see what's going on. Now, H1 liquidity purge at the lows. The ideal location for this trade was in London, naturally. That would have been the best position. But nonetheless. Okay. Let's see what happens with price action. So we've set a limit order. I'm going to looking at 1 minute candles because we may cancel this and market execute. We might not come back down to that level. Okay, hold on. Let's go back out to the M5, and then I think we may have missed this, which is an absolute shame. Yeah, because at that point now you'd have been reducing. And then we'll probably see, yeah, should continue higher. Yeah, okay, so we've missed that. That's a shame. That is a shame. Oh, why is that still going? is going on? Why won't this thing stop? Oh my goodness. Oh, Jesus, what is going on with this thing? I wanted it to stop so I could evaluate the position. But... well, okay. Well, we didn't get in, so we didn't lose anything, but... because I wanted to evaluate the hourly. So, for instance, see here, that's what I wanted to jump out and see whether we had further price action that was going to support a move higher. Would a market order have done the trick? Yeah, probably. That is a shame. I do think with FX Replay though, there is a few sort of quirks with the tool, as you could see there. Not sure why it wouldn't stop. You know, we're already at 11:20. I do think the market's going to go higher. Didn't tap into my entry, which was here. We sort of just missed it. That's where I wanted to get in. Missed that. So we could have been... let's just have a very quick look. If we were looking at this level here, I think our stop was around there. Oh, Jesus. True week open would have been initial, you know, running at 2.5. So would have certainly partialed. We would absolutely have partialed at that point there. That is rather annoying. High probability position. Technically formed in London. Looking for the continuation. We saw... I'm just going to get rid of some of this. Okay. We saw price action come into the balanced price range. This was at a time where I wouldn't be trading the market. So we've obviously come into this time frame here. New York. Sorry, the high impact news driver. Market starts to trade low. We wanted to get involved around here. We could make the argument, why don't we just get in here and stomach that? More risk is primarily the reason why you don't want to necessarily just sacrifice, you know, pips and so forth or points, because it's risk. So you want ultimately the market to trade into the areas that you've preset, if you will. Interestingly, that NQ did, although NQ probably didn't move as far as ES. I still think that there's upside. I'm not going to chase price now, which is a shame in terms of the move. But what we are going to do is just monitor on the 15, because we've obviously traded through this BPR. So the moment we've traded through this BPR here, we can almost rest assured that in theory this should act as support and we should see high prices. But we'll ultimately determine that. YM close to its previous day's high, trading above its true week open. The other two are still below, so I still think that there's some upside to go. We're going to change this to the 5 minute. We'll watch through. Real shame, because I generally thought that that was an opportunity to get involved. But, you know, these things happen from time to time. Okay. So let's see, do we trade and close above that down close candle? That's what we were looking for. We have taken out some stops, as you can see on NQ here. Relative equal lows there. So it's the lunch period. Oh, market's trading lower. So it'll be interesting to see this BPR. taken out some key lows. Let's see what happens. Maybe that could be the high, and the market now wants to reprice lower. We shall see. We're into the PM session now, or certainly lunch. So the market is certainly heavy. We can see YM traded up into some key price levels, but it's certainly heavy. I'm going to stop price there. Let's just venture out to the hourly, see what's going on. So for me, the price leg was here. We wanted to get involved really during London. That'd be the play. We attempted to get involved during New York, trade higher. The market has traded into this fair value gap here, possibly order block here, and repricing lower. I would still look at higher prices, especially because we invalidated this CB here. I'd still be looking for higher prices, but as I said, unfortunately we missed out on this one, which is an absolute shame. I think it would have been a lovely trade, but sometimes they occur, and I think one of the notes that I need to make to myself is when the SMT occurs during London or pre-London, typically the move, or certainly pre-London, hell, London as well, the move typically is going to occur in London, the primary move, and then we're going to see the continuation in New York. So at that point, you really do want to get involved in the London session. Okay, so note to myself there to make a note of that observation. So I am going to leave this session here. An unfortunate one, but you know, yeah, an unfortunate one that maybe opportunities presented themselves, unable to capitalize. That is the form of trading. So what are the takeaways that I'm going to take away going forward during this series? Well, one of the things that I'm going to note now is when the high time frame SMT occurs. Actually, let's do it now. When the high time frame SMT occurs either pre-London or during the London session, this is an indicator that the move will likely occur during the London session with a continuation from a H1 PDA during New York. Okay, so that's something for me to look out for. So as I'm skipping forward, I will make a quick point of reference in relation to previous days highs, previous days lows, to see if they've been purged pre-London, during London. So essentially, when we get to, you know, the 2 o'clock candle in London, see what happened, and then ultimately see if we can get involved in that. So that's what I'm going to look at going forward. So yeah, unfortunately missed out on that. Let's just sort of clear some of this and click through on the 15-minute. Yeah, we can use the 5-minute. Let's just see what price does. Traded back into the BPR, but as we can see, it's closed below, so that would suggest that we're going to run lower potentially. Let's have a look. Well, it certainly invalidated it. So, or actually, being this is an hourly level, that would have wicked, but you wouldn't want to see price trade back down there, and the fact that it has would indicate lower prices. But let's have a look. We are at the end, towards the end of the day, so yeah, really choppy price action now to end the day. Largely probably because the move occurred during New York in terms of the distribution. Okay, so there we are. Yeah, I'm going to stop price there. Just a couple more candles. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately, so no trade to end the week. We do have Friday, which I think I'm going to avoid, as there's no real reason to trade that day. We have got news at 8:30, so possibly. What will be a determining factor? Will be, do we have a clear high and low? Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Yeah, maybe we do. Okay. I will have a look at the key price levels heading into Friday, and if I think it's going to materialize something, I'll record the session. Yeah, but hopefully you enjoy this one. Unfortunate, couldn't get involved. Continuation move was there. The price did not trade up to the highs that I was anticipating, but as we can see on the 4-hourly, it's retraced this candle and traded back into this BISI. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at that price level, whether price rejects and moves higher, or whether we see a continuation of lower prices. Can't really say just yet, so would need to look at price action a little bit more. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this session. Few things to take away there. Fortunately, couldn't get involved. Missed out by a couple of points. Such is life. Bit of a glitch on the old FX replay. Wouldn't pause or do anything, so we had to refresh the screen, which was a shame. But yeah, as I said, hopefully something for you to take away. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I will catch you guys in the next one.